Good evening. Good evening. How are we this evening? How are we doing? How are we? How are we? Please let's do some greetings. Good to have you all here. Good to have you. So we're going to have an amazing time. I'm just adding extra light. Okay, so that I'm bright and good. Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Good to have you here. We're going to have an amazing time together. I think my light isn't too good. It's causing some reflection here. Apologies. Apologies, we're having some reflection. Okay, so let me have some greetings. Let's do some greetings, How are we doing? Sorry, we're starting the program a little late, but some technical challenges. But it's good that we are here now to start our conversation. Let's do some greetings, but also let me have some emojis just to show how excited we are and what is really going on in our lives. Please just let's go and just share one or two things that are going on in your life right now. How was the day? How are you doing? What's happening? What's going on? Thank you so much. Thank you for showing up this evening. I greatly appreciate your presence, and we are going to have an amazing conversation together. And this conversation will help us to really get ourselves running into direction that we need to run. So we are talking about marriage, relationship. It's not just about those that are married, it's also those that could be in the relationship. So an overview of our conversation today will be discussing, issues to build strong and purpose-aligned relationships and choosing really the right partnerships that support your identity, your values. So this won't just be about your marriage. This is going to be about your identity. Okay, what type of relationships are you going to be working on that will help you to have the right values, the right identity that you need in order for you to grow? Because what I've discovered is that most of us find ourselves in relationships and maybe we get married. And when we get married, we find ourselves compromised in that marriage, and we are not able to really do our very best to push in our careers. And as a result, it's as though marriage came to take away a part of you. Okay? Marriage came to take away a part of you, and you are failing to thrive because you've been married. And the objectives will be basically to bring about the importance of marriage in fulfilling your destiny. We'll be able to define, certain roles and external achievements that you need to undertake, even as you are relating with your spouse or people that you have chosen to relate with in that relationship. To also reflect on your personal values, because when you have personal values, you won't be shifted anyhow. Just because somebody comes up into your life, that person won't shift your values, because you will have your values well defined. Okay, and that also will help you. Oh, Mary, yes, we met at a women's breakfast. Good to have you here. Lovely. Okay. So when you have values well stated, it becomes very easy for you to relate with other people, because when you're relating with other people, you already have your guidelines or your guiding tools and principles, and therefore nobody can shift you because you already have values around your life. So now, why are we going to be talking about relationships in self-discovery? It is important to talk about relationships in self-discovery because you will find that when you built up within, it won't be difficult for you to relate with other people. When you have introspected and you have found yourself, any other person that comes, like I usually say, there is no person out there who can change how to feel. There is no activity outside. There is no person who does anything or says anything to you except the meaning that you give to what has happened. In short, what I'm trying to say is there is nothing outside. There is nobody who has offended you. There is nobody who can offend you. Anything that affects your life is as a result of what is intrinsically inside of you. There are things that you've believed, there are things that you have known. So, what the person has done outside, what the person has said outside, it's actually what is inside of you that will affect, because you have to first pull a file out of what you think the meaning of what they've said is. And that is how that particular thing will affect you. So, the reason why we are talking about self discovery in relationships, it's because when you've discovered yourself and you are well, you've built yourself up, it is very difficult for somebody out there to come and change your beliefs or your values. If you have that inner strength within you, anything that another person begins to talk about you or begins to do against you, you are not going to be easily swayed by that particular individual. Hence, the need for us to actually be talking about the issue of self discovery in relationships. Knowing who you are helps you to set healthy boundaries. You will communicate clearly and you will choose wisely what to say and what not to say. This brings in the issue of emotional intelligence. Many people do not have emotional intelligence. And as a result, they think that every person has to hear their opinion, or every person is interested to really know what is going on within them. You need to know that when you are relating, be it with your spouse, with your partner, or with a boyfriend, or at work, that particular relationship, you've got to know what is it that you will share with your husband and it will be okay. What is it that you will share with your colleague at work? So these understanding these boundaries will help you to actually know exactly what you can say, how you can say, based on your inner values. Sometimes people have lost out on certain relationships. Even marriages have been actually distracted. Marriages, people have gone through a lot of pain, and divorce has even taken place because you just did not know how to communicate with your boss. You didn't know how to communicate with your fellow accountant at work. So, setting out boundaries comes in with values. Because if you will think that everyone has to understand your emptiness, like I usually tell people, nobody owes you a life. So even when you have gotten married, even when you've got a spouse or you've got a boyfriend, you need to know that boyfriend owes you nothing. They don't owe you anything. And therefore, the issue of self discovery will help you to build your self worth. I usually tell people, how do you expect people to love you more than you love yourself? And by this, what I mean is the way you treat yourself when something happens, when you are going through situations, the way you treat yourself, the self sabotage, the way you take the pain and begin to be toxic to yourself, where you begin to even cause some diseases around your life. How do you expect another person to treat you better than you treat yourself? Hence, the need of self discovery when in relation to relationships. Before you get to say, I do, before you get to involve another person in your life, it is important it is important to know you. It is important to protect you. You need to protect yourself from being abused. Many people have given themselves to abuse because they don't set boundaries. They've given themselves to abuse because they haven't yet, understood how to treasure themselves. And as a result, a spouse starts abusing them because they don't have values. They don't know what guides them. They don't have those beliefs that they need to be following through, and that you've got to end somewhere. There are certain things that you cannot allow to happen to you. You are not going to allow a person to treat you any less than you treat yourself. That is the importance of having self discovery with relationship. Now, the influence of upbringing on relationship choices. Now, your view of love, commitment, roles, and trust are shaped by early environmental, the place you grew up from, what you were taught, the first meaning of relationship, who taught you about marriage, who spoke to you, where did you see it first, and who were there during the time that you were learning about relationships. How was love introduced to you? Was it somebody who raped you? Was it somebody who lied to you? So you may be carrying around wrong meaning of relationship. Even choices. I've met people who literally attract people who abuse them. The first relationship, the boyfriend was beating them. The second relationship, the boyfriend, after so many years of being together, left them. So you find that sometimes you may be attracting a certain type of people because intrinsically, those are things that you entertain. Remember that your internal representation does not know don't. Your internal representation does not know don't. So if you say, I do not want a man like this, I don't want somebody who does this, I don't want. When you are saying that, the internal representation does not understand don't. So something that is going on with you is that when you say, I don't want this, and that is what you are focusing on, what happens with the reticular activation system? Okay, for those who later will come along with me to learn neuro linguistic programming, for those who want to become life coaches, we will get into the details with this. So there is what is called reticular activation system, the thing that you think about more. It brings in what we call key focus filter. You begin to focus on that thing because that's what you are thinking about, that's what you are talking about. And therefore saying, I do not want poverty. I do not want demons. You will see that in certain churches, because they talk about demons more. We don't want demons. We cancel demons. The things that you talk about more are things that get to happen. So it is with relationships, okay? You may be entertaining a relationship where you say, I don't want a man like this. I do not want a woman like this. I don't want to marry a person like, and you keep on focusing on things you do not want. When you're focusing on things you don't want, those are things that you will attract because your internal representation does not know don't. And that is why your upbringing, the way you grew up, and the way you were trained when you were growing up, what you observed your parents, how did they relate? You find that you will actually begin to behave in a similar manner unless you are spoken to or you are aware. This is why the Bible talks about strongholds. In the book of Second Corinthians, chapter number 10, when you begin to read from verse 3, you find that Paul is addressing the issues of strongholds. And he is saying strongholds are imaginations, strongholds are high things, things that have exalted themselves against the knowledge of God. What is the knowledge of God? The knowledge of God is for you to live a healthy life. The knowledge of God is for you to live a wealthy life. What is the knowledge of God? The promises of God. But because of strongholds, mindset, something that you have kept in your mind. So, if, for example, you grew up you grew up in an environment where they say that a woman belongs in the kitchen, and so you did not see any woman rise in rank to lead an organization, for example. When you start work and the CEO is a woman, you may start having challenges to actually look at this woman as a boss because in your mind, nothing like that was introduced. So there's an argument in your mind, there's a stronghold that a woman cannot talk to you and send you to do something, yet that person is a boss. And so the issue of understanding commitments, understanding roles, and issues of trust, they are bound to affect your life if you have strongholds and you have things that tell you this is not supposed to be like this, this is supposed to be like this. That is why we talk about unlearning certain things. Listen to me. This is what is going to deliver your life and really just change, your relationship with your spouse, with your friends, whoever it is that you've been relating with. Nobody has done anything to you. Nobody has said anything to upset you. I need you to get this because that relationship that is struggling is not because of it's not because of what the person said or did. It is the meaning you attached. The meaning you attached to what somebody said. And that meaning is born from inside of you. That meaning is coming from you. Nobody has done anything to hurt you. Nobody has said anything to offend you. You are offended because you gave meaning. You are offended because you attached meaning to those words or to what you saw or what you heard. And as a result of the meaning you have attached, this is why your relationship with your spouse is being affected. Let's talk about roles. When you get to understand that roles can change, position does not change. We delve deep into this particular topic in the marriage relationship mastery. But let me highlight something. Roles between a man and a woman can change, but position does not. For example, a man is a leader, okay, he's the priest over a family. That position does not change whether he has made money or he hasn't made money. Whether you, a woman, is the one who's earning more, the position of the man hasn't changed. Just like the position of a woman going to labor ward does not change. That is what God has given to you. But roles can change. For example, there are certain times I've come home late. And as I've come home late, I know that when it comes to the kitchen and the things that need to happen in the kitchen, I'm totally responsible, as it's my role to ensure that we eat a certain meal, we do certain things at home. The helper will ask me, what is it that I need to do, so on and so forth. But a role can change, that my husband can cook a meal and serve me that meal. Nothing has changed. That hasn't tempered with his position. But let me tell you, the only way, um, the only way that particular action will still keep our marriage going in this particular relationship, it's because he knows himself, and therefore cooking for me doesn't change who he is, that he's the man of the home. If you get what I'm saying, please, in your chat, just say amen, amen. Okay? Because this is very important. Many times, because of lack of knowing ourselves, we get to mix up roles and position. And as a result, because of our upbringing, we begin to think, if a man cooks a meal for the wife, something is wrong in that home. It means he has lost his manhood, when actually it is not true, because roles can change, but positions do not change. As long as he's still respected, whether you, a woman, are the one who is earning more than your husband, that does not change his position. The fact that according to your roles, you brought in a bit more finances in the home, it does not change. But lack of knowing self will make you as a woman to start acting macho, to start acting with that masculine aspect, because you brought in a little more money. When actually, marriage or relationship is not about money. There is more to marriage than money. Money is just a byproduct, something that you will use to exchange for food, to exchange to get a car, to buy a house. And nowadays, you need to know that long time ago, when it comes to earning, okay, and provision, it was more macho. So you find that our men went into the mines, went hunting in the then days. The ones who were hunting, because a woman could not hunt. A woman remained at home. Now the world has evolved. And because the world has evolved, working in the marketplace is no longer about how much energy you have. Now in the marketplace, it's about your brain. And also, you may find that your brain in a particular company may be appreciated more than your spouse. He could even be doing a better job and even doing more, but probably he's working for the government, and you are working for an NGO, or you're working for a private sector. So you find that you may earn more than your spouse. That does not change who you are. So when you know yourself, you will know that going for work and having the exchange of your knowledge and what you are gathering does not interpret something different when it comes to the home environment. That is what we are talking about on self-discovery. Sometimes, because of the pain and the way you were brought up, there is information that is distorted in your mind. And because that information is distorted, there is a way you can destroy and rip up a relationship because of lack of understanding. But also, in the area of relationships, we talk about issues of healing. We talk about past patterns and things that you've gone through as cycles. In self discovery, we bring you into a place where you undergo, for lack of a better of putting it, deliverance of your mind. That is self discovery. Self discovery is basically you beginning to know who you are and things that may have, crippled your life. And those things need to be worked on. You going into a relationship with a damaged mind, a damaged heart, you will ruin even that relationship that you have entered into. Hence, they need to deal with those patterns. They need to deal with those, spaces in your mental space. Mental wellness is imperative before you start relating. If you're already relating, you're already married, you're already in a relationship, it is important for you to seek, a mental wellness expert to help you heal from your past wounds, because you could be responding to your spouse based on your past issues. There are certain issues you've gone through, and in self discovery, when we are talking about relationships, we are saying that begin to introspect and check yourself out, because you may be responding to life. You may be responding to situation and circumstances based on your folders. There are folders in your mind. There are strongholds. There's a mindset. And therefore, anything that is going on outside, you are interpreting it based on what is inside of you. Now, it is important for you to know that you've got to move in the purpose driven relationship. Okay. Health marriages and partnerships are rooted in mutual purpose and vision. That person who has come in your life, okay, that person who has come in your life, I want you to know that person does not owe you your past wounds. That person is coming to complement what you already have. Hence the need to get hold and hold your career bull by the horn. Ensure that you pay attention to the growth of your brand, the growth of your career, because that particular individual, the relationship you've gotten into, you need to have mutual agreement. They are simply coming to add. They are simply coming to complement. And if there is nothing to complement and nothing to add, you haven't worked on it yourself. You are not serious. You are not assertive. This is what I usually tell my girls, my young people, that the new sexy is an assertive woman. The new sexy is a woman who knows herself. Men want a woman who knows herself, a woman who is focused, and vice versa. You are not going to be so broken and thinking someone somewhere has to come and revive your life. You have to revive it yourself. Two people aligned in faith, purpose, values, and emotional awareness, they grow together. They push each other. I remember when I was doing my first master's, the time I was writing my tests, my exams, that time, my husband is the one who was busy with a child, busy with my baby, because, we have aligned values, purpose. We are both in the same faith. And we understand the time that I was doing school, he's the one who was busy nursing the baby in the night as I was busy studying. Because when you are aligned and you have planned that you see, this is what I want to do. I want to enroll. I want to do this course. And it is not like to make another person to look down upon the other person just because you are getting another degree or something like that. So that is why it is very important, just in case you don't find a guy or you don't find a woman who will treasure you or who you'll be aligned with. It is important, therefore, that you really work on yourself, because if you don't have a partner that is supporting you, it means you really have to work twice hard to get yourself aligned because you've got no support. But if you can, even if you're not married yet, be very careful who you allow to come into your life. You need to be very careful what to do when it comes to I do. Before you say I do, be very careful. But for those who are already married and you see that your spouse is not aligned, let me tell you something. In order for them to come into alignment, you have to be the first person to align. Let them see your assertiveness. Let them see your focus on your career. Let them see the way you're pushing yourself. They will toe the line. They will toe the line. This I can tell you. The issue of attraction versus alignment. Not everything that attracts you is aligned with your destiny. It is important for you to know that it should be beyond just the looks. Look beyond the chemistry. Seek complementary values, maturity, and life direction. Where are you going with this particular individual? Are they going to anchor you to where you're going? Are they going to complement you? If you're already married and you find that your spouse isn't complementing where you're going, like I said, I am going to keep emphasis that it is not about the other person. It is not about the other person not supporting you. Pick up your pieces. Pick up your pieces, enroll in courses, go back to school, get yourself a mentor, and begin to push your career, begin to push yourself. Let him, let her find you busy. If he's busy trying to rip off his life, she's trying to rip off her life and all, do not drown with your spouse. Don't drown with them because of what they are doing. Don't drown with them because they are choosing to abuse themselves. Remember, you cannot change your spouse. Okay, this is important to know. You cannot change your spouse. Your spouse has to make a decision to change. You have no control about their decision. You have control about your decision. And therefore, it is important for you to align within yourself. Your spirit, soul, and body must be aligned in order for you to achieve the things that you ought to achieve, because your life is much more worth than the way you are sometimes treating yourself. You are much worth than the way you are treating yourself. And do not let a relationship crash your career. Do not let your spouse crash who you are. You are in charge. You are in total control. Remember, she cannot crash your life. You've got to give them permission. By the meaning, you are attaching to what they've done. By the meaning, you are attaching to what they have said. You are the only person who can destroy you. Nobody can. Nobody has power to destroy your life. You've got to give permission for them to destroy you. You've got to change the meaning. And that meaning that you give is what will either destroy you or build you. It is the meaning. And therefore, it is important that you bring yourself in a place where you you know that you are in total control of your life. So somebody, a spouse can do something very, very bad to really, really cause so much pain. As that pain, listen, that pain that has been caused, remember, it is not what they've done. The extent of the pain, it is because of the meaning you've attached. Try this. This is why you get in a room. We will all observe different things based on our internal representation. We can all go through the same situation. How we respond is what differentiates girls from women, boys from men. It is how you respond. If your wife goes into adultery, how you respond? You will think, oh, I'm not man enough. Oh, maybe I do not, satisfy her sexually. Or you will tell yourself so many things. Those things nobody has told you. Even when she says those things, even when he says those things will only have effect in your life when you give them meaning. I want you to be set free. Out of this conversation we are having, I would like your life to be set free, to know that you are in total control of your life, to know that you are in charge of the future that you want. Do not let a relationship drain your life. Do not let a relationship destroy your career. Do not let a relationship destroy your future. Be very careful the people you allow in your life. Now, a few skills that strengthen relationships that I would like you to master. Emotional intelligence, it tops high. What is emotional intelligence, by the way? It is having an understanding of the way you are thinking and what other people also are thinking at that particular time in relation to your response. Whatever conversations that you are having, you need to have what we call sensory equity. Sensory equity is when you are having a conversation with somebody, you are talking to somebody, you need to keep your eyes locked up with them to know how this conversation is going. You need to be aware of your environment as you are talking, and you need to understand what someone has said even before they say it. You need to have a feel of the room to know if it is okay to crack a joke. And when you crack a joke, you should sense the laughter. And sensory equity says change the topic without the people knowing you've changed the topic. That is social intelligence. I mean, emotional intelligence. It is a certain, understanding of how you will need to speak to people to appreciate you, because likability is imperative. You need to be likable, whether they like it or yes. People must like you, okay? People must like you. People love to work with people they love, people they like. So you've got to work on your internal representation to be likable. You cannot afford to say, it's okay, I don't care how they think about me. I don't care what they. No, you must care. That is why emotional intelligence. Stop being too rigid. You can walk up into a place as Christian as you can be. Be malleable. I'm not saying go drinking because they are drinking. Be malleable in the way you respond to say no to something that you do not stand for, without making them feel like they are sinners and they go to hell. Another skill that you need to master is conflict resolution. As an individual who has chosen to partner with another person, you are a woman, you want to be staying with a man. You've married a man. You are a man, you've married a woman. You need to understand conflict resolution, because the way a man processes thoughts, the way a woman processes thoughts, totally different. And therefore, the issue of conflict resolution skill is very important. You've got to know, how will you resolve this situation? How will you resolve what has happened? You can't go on and on endlessly being angry, tormenting your life about something you have no control over. Conflict resolution helps you to heal. Conflict resolution helps you to close a chapter and start another chapter. So every person who has made a decision to get married, you need to study conflict resolution and you need to be an expert in conflict resolution because you have chosen to live together. Okay, you have chosen to stay together, and therefore there's going to be things you won't understand, and therefore have the skill of conflict resolution. Another skill you need to develop by all means is active listening. Do not be quick to talk. Don't be quick. Do not listen to respond. Don't listen to respond. Listen to listen. Have active listening skill. Listen to what your spouse is talking about. Listen to what they are not saying. Listen to their physiology. As you know, communication, only 7% are words someone is speaking. 38% is tonality. Yeah, tonality. Then 53, is it 53% is physiology. So active listening, listen to their physiology, listen to their tone, listen because ambiguity can also come in the tone. So that is why the importance of looking at their physiology. How are they expressing themselves? What is their tone? Are they angry? It's a skill. Another skill is shared vision. It's not just about what you want. What does your spouse want? What is it that they would also want to do? Very important in a relationship. Now, marriage as a partnership in purpose, a fulfilling relationship supports your calling, it doesn't suppress. If you are married, I want you to know if you are assertive and you're focused on purpose, you do not suppress the other person. Becoming is not about suppressing the other person. Becoming is not about dictating to other person. The right relationship will multiply your impact. A right relationship will multiply what you want to do. And hence the importance of you having the understanding of the things that you are supposed to do, the way you are supposed to grow in this particular relationship. Listen to me. A relationship, or let me just probably just talk about the marriage. If you want to know how to respond to empower you, you will crash. If your response to what you see, what you hear is always negative, you like attaching negative meaning to what you hear, to what you see, you won't grow your purpose. You won't grow your purpose. Your purpose will shrink because you are placing focus on wrong things, things that are taking away from you, things that are delaying your life. Nobody will deliver you from that place where you are shrinking. Your spouse has no energy. Your spouse does not understand your makeup. A man does not understand a woman's makeup. A woman does not understand a man's makeup. Even how we respond to things, we are totally different. And so, if you think your husband must see your hysterical behavior, must see that you are not happy, must see this, they won't see. If anything, sometimes when they see that you're not happy, they will avoid because they won't know how to deal with you. They won't know how to deal with your toxicity and your negativity. Sometimes we may want our spouses to get closer to us, but we are very toxic. Our behavior is pushing them away, but we want them close. So, because of how angry we are and our facial expression, we may chase our spouse away from us, yet we need them. Hence, the importance of having this understanding. In a relationship, your spouse won't understand what you want. Express it, but I want you to know we are totally different beings. We are totally different beings. And that is why we, even as fellow women, our blueprint, our test buds, our gait, our thumbprints, our so much is different. So because things are different, we can never understand what another person is going through and what is going on. That is why that sensitivity, when you see what is going on, it is very important for you to quickly bring yourself in a place where there is rapport. Okay. I teach, we get deeper into these topics when you attend my life coaching trainings for those who may want to be life coaches and neuro linguistic programming practitioner. We take you deep on how to create rapport. You go through my session of rapport creation, you'll be a superstar in your marriage. Your husband, your wife will need your presence because every day you will understand more about your other person, how they react, how they think about things, who they are, personality, how they respond. Are they more touchy in their response? Are they more what we call kinesthetic, more emotional? Are they more auditory? Do they react more to hearing? A relationship, you've got to align all those things, because if your spouse, reacts more to hearing, and you did something wrong, and you just get the car and you fill up fuel and you have it cleaned, and you think, oh, my wife will be happy because I have said sorry by me putting, fuel. They don't understand that language. They don't know what you're doing. They want to hear you talk. Hence the importance of understanding your spouse's way of communication. Okay. Like I said, we go deeper into this because marriage is sweet. Marriage is lovely. I've been in it for 31 years. I can tell you so. You have to understand that what is it that you are bringing into this marriage, than what is it that I'm taking. What good can I do for my spouse today? What good will I bring in this marriage? What good will I do today for my spouse? What must I do? Not what can I get? What can I get? That brings distraction. Marriage is about you giving, and you need to give within what you want to give, that which will give you joy, that which will give you happiness. If you have to cook, cook a meal because it gives you so much joy. And that will lessen anger. If your spouse maybe won't like the food, it will lessen the anger. Okay. All right. So this is where we end. Like I told you, we are aligning marriage, to self-discovery. If you want to delve deep with me in marriage, you've got to join Marriage Mastery so we can go deep. If you want to understand the science of marriage, and for you to be an amazing, amazing partner, delve even deeper into life coaching and NLP, then you will find how best you can relate with your spouse. So we are going deeper and deeper and deeper. So we have some questions that you'll be given for you to respond. What values matter most to you in relationship? How has your relationship influenced how you relate emotionally? Are you choosing relationships out of fear? What kind of partner do you want? How can I begin investing in becoming the right partner? So you are going to be given that assignment. And I hope by our conversation, you have picked one or two things which I'll be able to hear from your contribution with what you have learned. Do have an amazing evening. I wish we can go deeper for the next 2 hours, because I love this topic. I love, 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 love this topic. But I don't want to keep you long, because that's what time demands, that we keep it to time and we relate even more for further other conversations. Do have a lovely evening. Shalom.